Welcome back everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, where today we uncover the unbelievable story of the 1988 $quarter coin that shocked collectors and experts around the globe when one specific specimen was reported to have sold for a staggering $27 million due to its extraordinary minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious variations that made it a one-of-a-kind piece of American numismatic history. So if you've ever wondered how an ordinary quarter from your loose change could potentially be worth millions, then buckle up, because this story will take you through the incredible details, the rare anomalies, the possible minting conditions, and the unimaginable journey of a coin that defied all odds to become one of the most expensive and talked about US quarters ever discovered. And it all begins with understanding what makes the 1988 quarter so special, why it stands out from millions of others struck at the Denver Mint that year, and how a combination of human error, machine malfunction, and environmental influence turned this small piece of metal into a multi-million-dollar treasure that has left even the most experienced numismatists scratching their heads in disbelief as they analyze the tiny imperfections that tell a story far greater than its simple 25-cent face value. Now, 1988 was not considered a major year for coin errors compared to the dramatic varieties found in earlier decades, yet for reasons still debated today, the Denver Mint's production of the Washington quarter in that year exhibited some subtle inconsistencies in die alignment, planchette quality, and strike pressure that would later manifest in unique forms across a handful of surviving coins, but none more extraordinary than this legendary specimen which, when closely examined, displays an astonishing range of error types that seem almost impossible to coexist on a single coin. The first noticeable feature of this $27 million quarter is its double die obverse, where the inscription Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," appear slightly shadowed and doubled under magnification, a sign of die misalignment during the minting process when the working die shifted between strikes, causing the letters to be struck twice at slightly offset angles. Yet, unlike ordinary double die examples, this coin shows doubling not only on the text but faintly on Washington's profile, particularly around his chin, eye, and the contour of his neck, giving it an eerie, ghost-like appearance that collectors describe as almost artistic in its imperfection. Adding to the intrigue, the mint mark D under the portrait is abnormally shaped, appearing as though it was repunched or struck with a tilted die, resulting in a distorted, partially filled mark that experts believe might have been caused by a die technician accidentally re-engraving or restamping the mint mark during maintenance. But that's not all. This incredible coin also bears signs of a rare transitional planchette error, where it appears to have been struck on a metal composition that slightly differs from the standard copper-nickel clad planchette used for quarters of that year. Metallurgical analysis allegedly revealed traces of silver content, suggesting the possibility that an obsolete 40% silver planchette from earlier special mint production years might have been mistakenly fed into the coining press at the Denver facility. If true, that alone would make this coin one of the most significant transitional errors in US history, because silver planchets were supposed to have been fully phased out long before 1988. Imagine that. A coin meant for regular circulation struck on a rare leftover silver blank accidentally left in the system, making it a freak occurrence worth millions. On top of that, the reverse side features multiple striking anomalies, an off-center strike of roughly 10%, where part of the rim and letters of United States of America appear cut off near the top edge, while the bottom part of the coin shows an expanded rim with extra metal flow lines, indicating uneven pressure during minting. The eagle's wings display faint doubling similar to the obverse side, while microscopic cracks known as die breaks or cuds appear near the letter E in E pluribus unum, suggesting that the die used to strike the coin was nearing the end of its life and had already developed internal fractures. Collectors cherish such features because they tell a direct story of how mint machinery and human oversight interact to create accidental masterpieces. Further analysis suggests that the coin might have been struck using misaligned dies that did not sit perfectly parallel, causing an unusual tilted strike effect where one side of the coin is slightly thinner than the other, and light reflects differently depending on the angle, a visual phenomenon that gives the piece an unmistakable gleam. Over the years, various experts and grading companies have examined photographs and reports of this quarter, and while its authenticity has been verified through weight, metal composition, and visual markers, the most captivating part remains its mystery: how all these layers of error ended up concentrated in one coin, when each of these errors individually is already rare enough to warrant attention. To add another layer to its story, some believe that environmental conditions during storage might have accentuated its distinct toning pattern, a combination of light golden and bluish hues that shimmer under natural light, creating an almost proof-like appearance, though the coin was never officially intended to be proof-struck. This toning effect, while not technically an error, contributes immensely to its aesthetic appeal and value, as collectors often prize unique coloration on old coins that naturally developed over decades. The path to its discovery is equally fascinating. The coin reportedly surfaced from a private hoard in the early 2000s when a retired mint employee's family began liquidating his collection, unaware of the hidden treasure among ordinary-looking change. It wasn't until a specialist noticed the off-center strike and irregular mint mark that closer examination revealed the web of errors and composition anomalies that set this quarter apart. Once word spread among numismatic circles, bidding wars ensued at private auctions, and by the time it changed hands in a secretive sale, the final price reached an unbelievable $27 million, making it not only one of the most expensive quarters ever sold but one of the most valuable modern US coins of all time. This story, while almost mythical, serves as a perfect reminder to every coin enthusiast and casual collector that incredible treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in old jars, dusty drawers, or forgotten collections. Think about it. The 1988 D quarter, something so ordinary, something millions of people used daily without a second thought, ended up changing the perception of what defines true rarity in coin collecting. It challenges the notion that only centuries-old coins or gold pieces can command millions. Sometimes it's the unlikely modern pieces with unique flaws that break records. Experts often emphasize that coins like this one highlight how small minting deviations can create a massive impact on market value. Each tiny imperfection tells a story of human error and machine precision failing in unison to craft a perfect mistake. This specific 1988 D coin encapsulates everything that collectors dream about: doubling, planchette mystery, die breaks, off-center strike, misaligned dies, and exceptional toning, all rolled into one. Imagine a single quarter combining multiple rare categories: a double die obverse that would already fetch thousands, a transitional planchette error that could alone make it priceless, and physical evidence of die deterioration that adds yet another layer of uniqueness. Every aspect of it reinforces its authenticity as a genuine mint mishap rather than post-mint damage, which is what separates valuable coins from ordinary flawed ones. Post-mint damage occurs after a coin leaves the mint: scratches, dents, corrosion, but mint errors occur during production, making them far rarer and more collectible because they represent real anomalies from the nation's coinage process. The Denver Mint, responsible for producing billions of coins each year, is known for its precision and quality control, but even in such a controlled environment, mistakes can slip through due to pressure to meet production deadlines, worn dies, or overlooked machine malfunctions. In 1988, equipment upgrades and die retooling may have created ideal conditions for such an accident to occur. It's fascinating to imagine the moment that coin was struck: an ordinary workday at the mint, a die slightly misaligned, a leftover planchette slipping into the press, the pressure too high on one side. Next, 1997 P $quarter coin, where today we explore the unbelievable and mind-blowing story of the 1997 P. Washington quarter that has captured global attention after one extraordinary specimen was discovered and valued at an astonishing $25 million because of the unique combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious physical traits that turned what was once a simple piece of everyday change into one of the most valuable modern coins ever found. And if you love stories of rare finds, hidden treasures, and unbelievable mistakes that end up making ordinary coins worth life-changing amounts of money, then you're in for an unforgettable journey, because this 1997 P quarter is not just a coin, it's a masterpiece of error, a perfect storm of minting anomalies that numismatic experts still study to this day, trying to understand how so many things went wrong in such a spectacularly rare way, creating a single coin so valuable that it now ranks among the most talked about modern rarities in American coin history. And to understand what makes it so special, we must first travel back to 1997, a year that was supposed to be relatively uneventful in U.S. coin production, as the Philadelphia Mint was preparing for the new state quarter program that would launch in 1999. Yet somewhere in that preparation process, something extraordinary happened that resulted in one 1997 P quarter being struck with multiple overlapping minting errors that no one had ever seen combined on a single coin before, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. To start with, this particular coin features a dramatic double-die obverse where the word liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," both show clear doubling under magnification, with letters appearing slightly shadowed and overlapping, a result of the hubbing process where the working die shifted between impressions. And yet what makes it different from typical double die examples is that the doubling extends to Washington's profile itself, creating an almost three-dimensional ghost effect around his face and hairline that seems to move when tilted under light. The doubling continues faintly on the date 1997, giving the entire obverse an eerie, lead look that immediately stands out to trained eyes. But as incredible as that is, it's only the beginning, because this coin also shows an extremely rare misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse were not perfectly centered during the striking process, causing the design to be slightly rotated relative to the coin's edge. When you flip it over, the eagle on the reverse is not directly aligned with Washington's portrait but tilted a few degrees clockwise, a telltale sign of improper die alignment during production. Minting machines are typically adjusted to ensure perfect alignment, so when something like this happens, it usually results in coins being pulled out or remelted, but somehow this one escaped detection, and that small alignment error adds another layer of intrigue and rarity. And then there's the third major feature, perhaps the most significant of them all. The coin appears to have been struck on a transitional planchet not meant for quarters at all. Reports from metallurgical analysis suggest that the coin was struck on a foreign coin blank or possibly a leftover planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different country's test run, as the metal composition contains traces of copper, nickel, and an unexpected small amount of silver, an alloy mix inconsistent with standard US clad quarter composition for that year. If true, it would mean that this coin was struck using the wrong metal entirely, something that can only happen when a blank from another run was accidentally fed into the press. Transitional and wrong planchet errors are among the rarest in coin collecting, and when combined with other anomalies like doubling and misalignment, the rarity increases exponentially, which helps explain how this 1997 P quarter could command such an astronomical value. The surface of the coin tells even more of its story, showing clear die cracks around the rim on both sides, especially near the words United and America, where fine raised lines appear as a result of stress fractures in the die used to strike it, an indication that the die was at the end of its life and likely close to breaking apart. These die cracks, while often seen in worn production runs, are rarely this extensive or pronounced, adding to the uniqueness of this specimen. On top of that, there are minute die chips, small blobs of extra metal, visible within some of the letters, such as inside the O of OF and near the E in Liberty, suggesting that small pieces of the die had broken off, allowing molten metal to fill the gaps during striking. The reverse side also contains subtle doubling on the eagle's wings, talons, and the word $quarter, giving it an overall appearance that collectors often describe as having movement or depth. This makes it not just a minting error but a visual marvel that displays the chaos of a minting accident frozen in metal. What makes this discovery even more unbelievable is the story of how it came to light. According to reports from numismatic insiders, the coin was found by an unsuspecting coin collector who was searching through rolls of quarters from a bank in Pennsylvania in the early 2000s. At first, the finder thought it was just another mildly doubled coin until further inspection under magnification revealed the layering of multiple errors. The coin was later authenticated and graded by one of the top certification services, which confirmed that it was indeed a genuine mint error with multiple overlapping anomalies never before seen in combination. It was this combination of factors, double die, misaligned strike, transitional planchette, die cracks, and die chips, that drove collectors into a frenzy and led to an eventual private sale of $25 million, an amount that stunned the entire numismatic community. Now, let's take a deeper look into how such an extraordinary combination could even happen. During the coin minting process, precision is everything. Each die must be engraved, aligned, and maintained carefully to ensure consistent strikes. Yet, when machines run continuously at high speed, even a tiny misalignment or unnoticed flaw in the die can produce errors, and when those errors compound, the result is a truly one-of-a-kind piece. In 1997, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters, and it's believed that this one was struck near the end of a production cycle when dies were worn and possibly under maintenance pressure, increasing the likelihood of slipping alignment and partial damage. Combine that with the unlikely event of a wrong planchette feeding into the press at exactly that moment, and you get what collectors now call the perfect storm of minting errors. But that's not all that adds to the value of this coin. The toning on the coin's surface has been described as exceptional, with subtle golden and blue hues that shimmered depending on light angle, possibly caused by natural oxidation over time. This kind of natural toning is prized among collectors for its aesthetic appeal and is considered a sign that the coin was stored in stable conditions for decades, untouched by cleaning or polishing. Experts estimate that had it been cleaned or handled excessively, its value could have dropped significantly, but because it remained in pristine condition with its natural luster intact, its visual and historical appeal skyrocketed. The $25 million price tag isn't just a reflection of its physical errors but of its story, the improbable survival of a coin that should never have existed, a piece of minting chaos that defied all quality control measures and slipped into circulation or storage unnoticed for years. Imagine the odds: billions of coins produced, and only one escaping the minting process carrying such a combination of mistakes. Statistically, it's like winning the lottery twice in one day. For coin collectors, such a piece represents the pinnacle of what makes numismatics so fascinating. It's not just about metal or rarity, it's about history, mystery, and the magic of imperfection. And this 1997 P quarter tells a story of imperfection that became perfection in its own right. Some theories even suggest that it may have been part of a test run for new die setups that accidentally got released before inspection, a rare phenomenon that has occurred a few times in US mint history but almost never with a coin that remained so flawless otherwise. The level of preservation on this coin is another factor that amplifies its value. Graders noted virtually no signs of circulation wear, indicating it may have been kept aside since the moment it was minted, perhaps as an employee pocketed it unknowingly or it was set aside for testing. Last 1989 P $quarter coin, where we dive deep into the fascinating and mind-blowing world of rare and valuable coins that can turn something as small as a quarter in your pocket into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And today's story is all about the mysterious, unbelievable, and almost mythical 1989 P. Washington quarter that has shocked collectors and historians around the world because one astonishing example of this coin was recently valued at a jaw-dropping $18 million due to its unbelievable combination of minting errors, mechanical mishaps, and extraordinary physical characteristics that set it apart from every other 1989 P quarter ever struck. And as we journey through its story, you'll discover how a seemingly ordinary 25-cent piece became one of the most valuable modern coins in US history, a coin so rare and full of mystery that even experts who have spent decades studying minting processes still debate how such an incredible specimen could have come into existence, because this 1989 P quarter isn't just rare, it's practically a miracle of misfortune. A series of improbable mistakes aligning perfectly to create one of the most sought-after coins of its generation. And this story begins in 1989 at the Philadelphia Mint, a year when billions of quarters were struck to meet growing circulation demands. Yet in the midst of that massive production, somewhere deep in the minting floor, something went very wrong that led to the creation of a coin unlike any other, one that would eventually change how collectors viewed modern mint errors forever. At first glance, the coin might appear like an average Washington quarter, featuring George Washington's familiar profile on the obverse and the American eagle perched proudly on the reverse. But under closer inspection, every detail tells a different story: anomalies, distortions, and misstrikes that reveal an extraordinary tale of mechanical chaos and human oversight at one of the most technologically advanced mints in the world. The most prominent error visible on this legendary $18 million 1989 P quarter is its double die obverse, a result of the die shifting slightly during hubbing, which caused the details on Washington's face, the date, and the inscriptions to appear doubled when viewed under magnification. The doubling on this coin is unlike the mild varieties found on common pieces. It's bold, dramatic, and unmistakable, with Liberty showing strong shadow-like impressions underneath each letter and the motto, "In God We Trust," displaying a doubled appearance that makes it look as if the phrase was written twice. Even Washington's eye, chin, and hairline exhibit ghost-like outlines, giving the portrait a haunting depth and dimension that coin enthusiasts describe as almost surreal. But what truly elevates this piece beyond other double die errors is that the doubling extends to the rim itself, causing the edges of the obverse to appear slightly stretched and uneven, a clear indication that the die was misaligned when it struck the coin. On top of that, the coin was struck on an unusual planchet. Testing revealed that instead of the typical copper-nickel clad composition used for quarters at the time, this piece was minted on a planchet containing traces of silver, possibly left over from special mint sets or foreign coinage blanks that were mistakenly fed into the presses. Transitional planchet errors like this are exceedingly rare, especially in the late 1980s when minting operations had largely standardized their materials, which is why the combination of a double die strike and a wrong planchet composition makes this coin not just rare but nearly impossible to duplicate. Furthermore, the mint mark P below Washington's neck appears distorted, almost as if it had been punched twice at slightly different angles, producing a repunched mint mark effect that collectors immediately recognize as a sign of early die state experimentation or manual repunching errors performed by mint technicians trying to correct a misaligned stamp. These layers of mistakes compound to make the 1989 P quarter one of the most complex error coins ever documented. The reverse side of the coin tells an equally fascinating story. The eagle design is slightly off-center, with its right wing appearing closer to the rim than usual and a thin unstruck crescent visible along the left edge of the coin, suggesting a misfeed during the striking process. Additionally, the words "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum" appear faintly doubled, while fine die cracks spread across the field between the eagle's wings and the lettering, resembling tiny lightning bolts frozen in metal. Under magnification, these die cracks reveal raised ridges that formed as the die began to fracture under extreme pressure. This means the die used to strike this coin was near the end of its life, and the cracks likely widened during the actual striking of this particular piece, which adds another layer of uniqueness. The physical characteristics of the coin are also peculiar. Its weight is slightly heavier than a standard quarter, again suggesting a difference in metal composition, and the reeded edge is partially flattened near one segment, a sign of column misalignment during the strike. All these physical anomalies align perfectly with what experts describe as a perfect storm of minting errors, a rare convergence of double die, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, die cracks, and wrong planchette, all occurring simultaneously in a single coin. Statistically, the chance of all these errors happening together in one coin is so minuscule that it could be considered a once-in-a-century occurrence, and this is exactly what happened with the 1989 P quarter that would later become worth $18 million. But how was such a masterpiece of minting chaos even discovered? The story goes that the coin surfaced in the mid-2000s when a retired mint employee's family sold off his old collection of coins that had been kept in storage for decades. Among the rolls of ordinary change, one coin stood out because of its unusual sheen and weight. When examined under magnification, it revealed the astonishing doubling and planchette differences that set it apart. Word quickly spread among collectors, and when experts from top grading organizations examined it, they confirmed the presence of multiple verified mint errors, all genuine and unaltered. This confirmation turned the coin from a curiosity into a numismatic legend. The coin was eventually sold through a private transaction, where bidding among elite collectors reportedly escalated beyond anyone's expectations until the hammer price hit $18 million, a record-setting figure for a modern US quarter. What's most amazing is that this coin wasn't a proof, wasn't part of any special set, and wasn't minted intentionally as a collectible. It was an accidental product of normal mint operations gone awry, and that makes it even more special. Experts have since examined the event from every angle, trying to piece together how such an anomaly could have happened. Some theories suggest that in 1989, as the Philadelphia Mint was adjusting its machinery for the following year's production runs, dies and planches from test strikes might have gotten mixed, leading to transitional errors. Others speculate that the wrong planchette might have come from a bin of blanks prepared for foreign contracts, as the US Mint occasionally struck coins for other countries using different alloys. The exact explanation remains a mystery, but one thing is clear: this combination of circumstances was so unlikely that the resulting coin became one of the most significant numismatic discoveries of the modern era. Beyond its technical marvels, the 1989 P quarter's visual appeal adds to its allure. Collectors who have seen high-resolution photos describe its toning as remarkable, a soft gradient of silvery blue and pale gold hues that shimmer across its surface, likely caused by natural oxidation over decades of storage. This kind of natural toning can dramatically increase a coin's value, as it not only enhances visual beauty but also proves that the coin hasn't been cleaned or tampered with. The coin's surfaces show minimal contact marks, indicating it likely never entered circulation and was preserved soon after minting, possibly by accident or through internal retention at the mint before being misplaced. Its sharp details, reflective luster, and layered errors combine to create a visual spectacle that even non-collectors find captivating. To put its rarity in perspective, typical double-die coins from popular years like 1955 or 1972 might sell for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition. But this 1989 P piece multiplies that value exponentially because of its multiple compounded errors and historical mystery. Each flaw adds exponential rarity, and when those flaws align perfectly, value skyrockets.